Every thorn they threw in your path became the crown you now wear. That's how balance works. It collects every hidden intention, every silent betrayal, and folds it into your evolution. Life isn't random, it's a system that remembers. The same hands that tried to block your way end up trapped in the walls they built for you. That's the irony. Those who dig holes for others often forget gravity never plays favorites. The universe doesn't need revenge, it just resets the scale. When critics and haters plot your downfall, they're really volunteering to teach you endurance. Their whispers sharpen your focus. Their jealousy becomes the heat that forges your calm. You don't need to respond. Existence itself rearranges in your favor. The balance of life isn't mystical, it's mathematical. Energy multiplies where it's clean and collapses where it's corrupt. And when you're chosen by alignment, not privilege, your progress starts haunting the ones who swore you'd never rise. You become the reminder that what was meant to destroy you became your launch code. The same storms they summoned to drown you turned into the wind beneath your ascent. Every delay they celebrated was a divine setup for your acceleration. Their interference became your initiation. You didn't just survive, you recalibrated reality. If you feel this message in your bones, pause right now. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in, because this isn't just content, it's confirmation. You are the proof that balance never loses count, and your rise is the universe's loudest correction. Before we dive deeper, pause for a moment, because what's about to unfold isn't just another message, it's a turning point. The same people who wished for your silence are about to watch your rise unfold right in front of them. You've felt the shift already, the unease in the air, the resistance that made no sense, the way doors started opening the moment you stopped chasing approval. That's not coincidence, that's alignment in motion. So before we get into the truth they never wanted you to hear, do this right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to stay connected with this energy, and drop the number 99 in the comments to anchor your focus here. Because this isn't just a video, it's a mirror reflecting your next chapter. Stay till the end, chosen one, because by the time this message is done, you won't just understand what happened to you. You'll understand why it had to happen for you. Let's get started. Number 1. When they try to bury you, rise like proof that light doesn't die. They didn't move against you out of strength, they moved out of fear. The kind that keeps people awake at night, whispering your name like it's a problem they can't solve. They didn't cast that spell to scare you, they launched a campaign to erase your influence. What they didn't calculate was the cost of interference. When you tamper with balance, it doesn't just push back, it collects interest. The very energy they poured into trying to cage your voice turned into the weight dragging them under. Something shifted in their circle, the sickness, the breakdown, the quiet disappearances. You didn't wish harm, the universe simply handled its correction. Now, the laughter that once echoed behind your back has gone silent. They can't even mention your name without feeling the air get heavy. You were never the threat, they just couldn't survive your reflection. While others chased attention, you were building frequency. While they copied aesthetics, you were rewriting patterns. Your presence didn't entertain illusions, it exposed them. That's what made you dangerous in their eyes. You didn't conform to the script they rehearsed. You burned the stage they performed on. The authenticity you carry operates like light. It doesn't argue with shadows, it dissolves them. So they panicked. They gathered in silence, mistaking imitation rituals for power, thinking consequence could be avoided by calling it faith. But balance doesn't negotiate, it just recalibrates. You felt the storm, didn't you? The exhaustion that came out of nowhere, the sudden confusion in your thoughts, the strange distance between you and people who used to understand you without words. That wasn't bad luck, it was interference. They tried to intercept your rhythm, to make you doubt your direction, to turn your purpose into pressure. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still radiating a signal they can't decode. What they sent your way didn't destroy you, it refined you. Every wave of attack sharpened your awareness, every betrayal strengthened your filter. You didn't lose control, you leveled up in silence. Their attempts to mute you backfired because truth doesn't vanish when silenced. It multiplies underground until it erupts. That's what happened. The louder they tried to suppress you, the stronger your energy became. The universe redirected their hostility into your evolution. You became the storm they created. And when you rose, it wasn't revenge, it was restoration. The same people who once doubted your resilience now study your calm like a mystery they can't solve. You didn't have to curse them back, reality already did. The law of cause and effect never sleeps. Every hidden intention they sent out came home for payment, stamped return to sender. You didn't fight, you outlasted. That's power, that's balance. That's why they've gone quiet. Because deep down, they finally understand. When you move with truth, no attack lands clean. Every dark act against you just fuels the evidence that you were always meant to rise. Number 2. When their lies turn to weapons, stay silent until truth starts screaming. They thought their lies could shape your reality. They believed if they repeated the same distortion long enough, it would start to sound like truth. But chosen ones don't need to shout to be heard. The universe echoes for them. When deceit becomes their weapon, your silence becomes your shield. Let them talk. Let them twist. The louder they perform, the quicker truth sharpens its blade in the background. Every false word they threw at you was a confession disguised as gossip, and now the echo of their lies is hunting them back. You noticed it, didn't you? The stories that never made sense, the way people suddenly looked at you through borrowed opinions. They were trying to stain your image, not realizing that clarity always outlasts noise. You didn't lose credibility, you gained evidence. Every rumor became proof that your authenticity threatened systems built on pretending. And while they used manipulation as strategy, you used patience as warfare. The truth doesn't rush. It waits until the lies exhaust themselves. Chosen one, understand this. Your silence isn't weakness, it's positioning. While they were busy performing character assassinations, the energy they released began circling like smoke without a home. And when truth finally inhaled, it roared. Now their own words are turning against them. Their credibility cracked, their alliances crumbled, their peace evaporated. Because what they built on your name couldn't survive contact with reality. You didn't have to prove anything. You just had to keep walking. The universe exposes liars by letting them speak too long. You are the storm they tried to name, but couldn't contain. Let your results scream where your mouth stayed quiet. Truth doesn't need a defense, it needs time. And now that time has arrived. Number 3. When they choke your voice, speak through energy they can't bind. When they tried to choke your voice, they thought silence would kill your influence. But what they never understood is that your power was never limited to words. It was built into your very energy. You were born with a frequency that can't be copied, can't be contained, can't be bound. When they tried to block your throat, your essence spoke louder through your presence. The air around you began to carry your message. People started feeling your truth instead of hearing it. And that's when they realized the real threat. You don't need to speak to shake a room. They threw shadows hoping you'd lose direction, but you became fluent in light. Every attempt to quiet you only refined your vibration. You started speaking through timing, through action, through the quiet authority that makes noise irrelevant. They can bind a mouth, not a mission. They can block communication, not connection. And the moment you stopped explaining yourself, you became unreadable, and that's what terrified them. You turned their control into confusion. You became the sound they couldn't locate, the message they couldn't mute. Chosen one, understand this. Your silence wasn't defeat. It was strategy. You were learning how to move beyond language, how to let your aura carry the story they tried to erase. That's why rooms change when you walk in, why energy bends before you speak. They called it luck, but it's presence, power operating without permission. You've become the broadcast of balance itself, an echo that doesn't need volume to be heard. So the next time they try to shut you down, remember, you don't need a voice to be felt. You are the signal, and no force can silence what was built to resonate across lifetimes. Number 4. When curses hit, turn into the mirror that breaks their reflection. When they threw curses your way, they didn't realize they were striking at a mirror, one polished by truth and reinforced by resilience. Every dark wish they whispered, every rumor they built in your absence, every plot they wove behind your back, none of it landed where they intended. It hit their own reflection. That's the thing about energy. It doesn't vanish. It ricochets. You don't have to block it, chase it, or defend yourself. When your spirit runs clean, interference collapses on impact. Their hate didn't destroy you, it exposed them. They thought they were coming for your peace, but what they met was precision. You became the mirror that refused distortion. The moment their envy touched your frequency, it fractured. That's why their world started falling apart piece by piece. The sickness, the chaos, the sudden fear they can't explain. It wasn't your doing, it was the recoil of their own energy. They fired arrows made of deceit and got pierced by the truth. You didn't have to retaliate, reflection did the work for you. Chosen one, understand this. When you live in alignment, your silence becomes the most dangerous sound in the room. You're not a victim of their curses. You're the evidence that nothing dark survives near light. They tried to dim your glow, but the glow became glass, and every shot they took bounced back harder. That's why they hide now. That's why they avoid your name like it's cursed. They're not scared of you. They're scared of what you make them see in themselves. You are not just surviving their attacks, you're converting them into power. You're the mirror that breaks illusions, the proof that truth doesn't need revenge. It reflects, and every time they look your way, they're forced to watch their own downfall unfold. Number 5. When they cross you, remember you're built from universal law. When they crossed you, they didn't just offend a person. They collided with principle. You're not powered by opinion or emotion. You're wired into the same order that holds the stars in orbit. People forget that balance isn't something you ask for, it's something you are. Every time they moved against you, they triggered correction. That's why their plans fell apart the moment your name entered the conversation. You didn't have to respond, the law did it for you. The chosen ones move differently. You don't fight for revenge because balance fights in silence. You're built from a current that doesn't argue, it recalibrates. When someone throws chaos into your path, they think they're creating confusion, but what they're really doing is revealing where their own structure breaks. That's why you keep walking untouched while their world begins to crack. Their interference doesn't destroy your alignment, it activates it. And when alignment activates, consequences don't miss. They thought they could twist your path, rewrite your story, or take what was never theirs. But energy doesn't bow to ego. Every move made against you was logged into the system, and the response was inevitable. You're not protected by superstition, you're protected by precision. You embody the law that keeps everything in order, and when that law is challenged, correction is automatic. So don't waste time clapping back or proving points. The ones who touched your peace already signed their own lesson. You don't have to swing back when the universe swings with you. You're not just surviving under the law, you are the law in motion, and that's what terrifies them most. Not that you're strong, but that you can't be broken without the entire order of life breaking with you. Number 6. When they play with dark power, watch them burn in their own fire. They thought they could play with shadows and stay untouched. They thought power could be borrowed, manipulated, or controlled like a tool. But darkness has no loyalty. It feeds, then devours its master. When they reached for the fire to throw it your way, they forgot fire doesn't take sides. It only burns where it's invited. They tried to weaponize chaos, and now it's crawling back into their homes, their minds, their peace. Every secret ritual, every malicious intention, every envious whisper, they all turned into smoke that chokes the sender. They wanted your downfall to feed their pride, but they didn't understand how balance works. When you're aligned, their energy has nowhere to land. It ricochets, and what comes back is never gentle. They called it power, but it was just desperation wearing a mask. They lit flames they couldn't control, and now those same flames are lighting up every lie they ever told. The same way they tried to bury your name, life is now burying their illusion. You didn't need to retaliate, you simply rose. Your silence became their curse, your peace became their exposure. Every time they pushed darkness toward you, your glow expanded. Because the chosen don't fight in the mud, we rise above it until the storm suffocates itself. You're not the victim of their envy, you're the evidence of their failure. They tried to summon destruction, but destruction always hungriest for the hand that feeds it. So let them burn in the fire they started. You don't have to watch, just keep walking. Because balance doesn't ask for revenge. It delivers it in perfect timing. You are untouchable, not because you hide from darkness, but because you outshine it. And now they finally understand. The light they tried to destroy is the one revealing who they really are. Number 7. When they feed on darkness, let hunger be their punishment. They tried to drain your energy because they couldn't create their own. That's how darkness survives, by feeding on borrowed light. They hid behind fake confidence, rituals, gossip, manipulation, anything that could pull from your frequency. But what they never realized is this: when darkness eats light, it starves faster. Their hunger became their punishment. Every time they reached for your peace, they burned another piece of their own stability. These people weren't strong, they were starving. They wanted your calm because their chaos was collapsing. They wanted your glow because their own spirit was dimming. You didn't do anything to them except exist in alignment, and that alone exposed how empty they really were. They weren't attacking you out of hate, they were trying to steal survival. But you can't siphon energy from a source protected by balance. Every attempt they made just amplified the void inside them. Look around now. The same ones who tried to drain you are running on fumes. The mask is cracking, their circles breaking, their fake power has turned into exhaustion. That's not coincidence, it's consequence. The universe has a rule: energy borrowed through deception always returns in collapse. You didn't have to fight, block, or explain. You just had to stay still and watch the hunger consume itself. Chosen one, understand this: you were never meant to feed the ungrateful. You're a source, not a supply. And now that you've pulled your energy back, the darkness that depended on you is starving in silence. That's justice, that's balance. And that's the reason they can't stop thinking about you. You were their last meal before truth cut them off. Stay elevated. Let their hunger teach them what your peace already knows. What's built on envy will always eat itself alive. Number 8. When death visits their circle, no balance just collected its debt. When death touches their circle, understand, balance isn't cruel, it's precise. Energy doesn't disappear, it completes the equation. Every action, every intention, every silent attack leaves a trace. When they called your name in bitterness, they didn't just summon harm, they opened a contract. The universe doesn't punish, it reconciles. What they sent out in arrogance came back in accuracy. They believed they were untouchable, that their darkness could roam free without consequence. But when you aim chaos at someone aligned with purpose, that energy doesn't land, it rebounds. And when it returns, it comes heavier, sharper, unstoppable. They called it coincidence, the sudden tragedy, the unexplained illness, the loss that came out of nowhere. But you, chosen one, know better. You felt the air shift before it happened. You sensed the current snapping back. Because energy doesn't miss its mark, it finds the origin. They thought your silence was weakness, but silence is where justice gathers strength. The universe watched their every move, recorded every intention, and when the moment was right, balance collected its debt, quietly, efficiently, without warning. You didn't have to fight back. Existence handled it for you. The scales were simply correcting themselves. That's why you're still standing while their energy is collapsing. You were protected by alignment, not aggression. You stayed clean while they sank into what they created. Remember this, balance doesn't choose sides, it honors truth. And when you are truth in motion, anything false around you eventually destroys itself. So when you hear of their downfall, don't gloat, don't grieve, observe. That's not revenge, it's return. That's not tragedy, it's testimony. They didn't lose to you, they lost to the weight of their own actions. You were never their victim, you were their lesson. Number 9. When your voice shakes. Demons don't whisper to keep them comfortable. They never hated your words. They feared what your voice awakened in them. Every syllable you spoke cracked open the illusions they built to protect their comfort. You weren't just talking, you were triggering truth. That's why they tried to shut you down, to convince you that being quiet was peace, when, in reality, it was surrender. But chosen ones don't whisper to make liars feel safe. You weren't sent here to blend in. You were sent here to expose frequencies that can't exist beside authenticity. When you speak, something ancient moves through the air. The room shifts. Masks loosen. People who've hidden behind fake confidence start to fidget because your truth reminds them how hollow their echo really sounds. You've probably noticed it, how your honesty makes some people uncomfortable, how your energy alone forces confessions out of others. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. You carry a resonance that can't coexist with deceit, and those who thrive on illusion can't survive your sound. They'll call you intense, too deep, too much, but what they really mean is too real. Your words strip away the noise that protects their lies. Your silence haunts them because even when you don't speak, your presence reminds them that their comfort was built on pretending. That's why they react. That's why they gossip. That's why they plot. They're not defending truth. They're defending the illusion your voice keeps dismantling. So don't soften. Don't dilute your message to fit their limits. You weren't born to whisper in rooms built on fear. You were born to vibrate so loud that everything false starts cracking under the pressure. Speak. Even if your voice trembles, it's still the sound of awakening, and the world needs to hear what only you can say. Number 10. When you go silent, let your comeback sound like thunder. When you go silent, they think you've surrendered. They confuse stillness for weakness because they've never seen what power looks like before it strikes. But chosen ones know the quiet before a storm isn't peace, it's preparation. You didn't disappear, you were upgrading. You were sharpening your edge in silence while they danced in arrogance, thinking the war was over. They mistook your pause for defeat, not realizing your energy was rearranging behind the scenes, gathering strength for a comeback loud enough to shake everything built on lies. When you stopped explaining, they lost control. Your absence became the loudest message. You stopped feeding their chaos, and the silence made them nervous. Because silence from a chosen one isn't emptiness, it's incubation. It's the seed splitting underground, invisible but unstoppable. While they bragged, you rebuilt. While they mocked, you manifested. And when you rise again, it won't be gradual. It'll be thunder rolling through their comfort zones, announcing that the energy they tried to bury has returned louder, sharper, untouchable. Every insult they threw, every door they slammed, every rumor they whispered, it all becomes your echo now. They'll hear your name in success stories, see your reflection in victories they can't explain, and realize too late that they awakened exactly what they tried to kill. You don't need to yell. Your results will speak like lightning splitting the sky. That's the power of chosen silence. It doesn't end the story, it rewrites it. So, chosen one, stay calm, stay focused. Let your silence stretch until it hums with power. When you finally move, move like thunder, sudden, undeniable, impossible to ignore. Because when you return, it won't just be a comeback, it'll be a reckoning. Number 11. When their rituals fail, trust that the universe logged every move. They thought they were moving in silence, but silence is the loudest witness of all. Every whisper, every plot, every fake prayer disguised as concern, it's all been recorded. The universe doesn't use cameras or journals, it documents through vibration. Every time they wished harm, every time they tried to dim your voice, the energy signed its own name. They thought secrecy could shield them, but energy has perfect memory. And now that memory is unfolding like evidence at the scene of their own undoing. Chosen one, this is what they never understood. When your heart is aligned, you don't need to defend yourself. Truth does it automatically. You didn't have to expose them. The balance did. The same rituals they used to twist your energy became the very record that turned against them. Their intentions wrote their fate before the candle ever burned out. While they tried to cloak their motives in mystique, the universe quietly stamped every move with time, place, and consequence. That's why exposure feels sudden. It's not sudden, it's scheduled. The masks they wore are cracking because the energy they sent out demanded return. You didn't need revenge, you became the proof. Every rumor, every fake apology, every dark intention is now working against its creator. The system doesn't miss, it just waits for the right moment to make everything visible. So stand tall. You are walking through the courtroom of balance, and the verdict is already in your favor. You don't need to react or explain. Just live so loudly in your peace that their chaos testifies for you. Remember this, chosen one. When truth is on your side, every secret attack becomes public evidence. The universe has logged it all, and now it's collecting. Number 12. When the smoke clears, walk like the law that darkness fears. When the smoke clears, chosen one, don't rush to explain what happened. Just walk through the silence like the verdict itself. Every storm that tried to bury you has already signed its confession. You don't owe the past your reaction. It already proved your point by collapsing on its own. Those who once mocked your stillness will now have to watch it move mountains. They'll see that while they were plotting, you were evolving. You didn't need to lift a sword. Your survival became the sentence. That's what real power looks like: quiet, precise, and unbothered. You were never built to chase revenge. You were designed to embody consequence. The kind of energy that doesn't announce justice, it becomes it. When the smoke fades, you don't just rise, you represent the balance that ended the game. That's why they avoid your name now. You're not just a person to them anymore. You're the echo of every action they regret. You became the walking reminder that the universe never forgets where to deliver results. Walk differently now. Every step you take is a declaration that darkness failed. You don't need to look back or explain your peace. It speaks in results louder than noise ever could. The same people who wished you gone will see you standing taller, not because you fought, but because you endured. Remember, darkness doesn't fear punishment, it fears exposure, and your presence is that exposure. So walk like law itself, calm, untouchable, inevitable. Because when balance chooses a vessel, the world listens. You're no longer surviving, you're governing the aftermath. You've become the line between what was false and what remains. That's the kind of authority no curse, no lie, no ritual can ever outrun. And now, chosen one, as the dust finally settles, remember this: what was meant to silence you became the sound of your awakening. Every attempt to destroy your voice only made your truth louder. You didn't just survive their chaos, you mastered it. This is your turning point, your proof that nothing formed against alignment can last. If this message resonated with your spirit, hit that like button, subscribe to stay aligned with this energy, and drop the number 99 in the comments to seal your breakthrough. Share this video with another chosen one who needs to remember: they can't stop what's destined.